Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dan and this is your Daily Prep. Guys, today is Best of Web Monday, and today I just wanted to throw to a site called Beyond Off Grid. The URL is beyondoffgrid.com. Makes sense. So what Beyond Off Grid is it's actually the website for a documentary of the same title being made, excuse me, about sustainable living and the need for it. So I think as preppers, one of the things that we're very well acquainted with is the fragility, I'll say, of our current system and the grid, quote unquote. So talking about energy, I'm talking about food, water, even things like piped in plumbing and the sewage system and stuff like that, the sewer system. But there's just this dependence on the grid, and what's happening is as more and more generations pass, with the conveniences, the stronger that dependence gets. So Beyond Off Grid is a look, from everything I can tell anyway, I'm just starting to get acquainted with it, but Beyond Off Grid is basically a documentary that's going to look at how the grid and the dependence on it create this problem for us, and how it's not something that's always going to be dependable and something that we can always bank on, and why the need for simplicity and for off-grid solutions. So, small scale farming, micro homesteads, having some sort of self-sufficiency as it relates to like food production and water and energy, minimizing your requirements, living a little bit more simply, all those kind of good things. So I think it's a super interesting project. If you go to the site, you can see that there's a place where you guys can actually donate if you guys want to. If you got a couple bucks and you don't mind helping these guys get off the ground. Looks like they're about $17,000 on their way towards their $30,000 goal of what it would take to meet production costs. They also have a lot of really cool content. I found out about these guys through a webinar that my buddy Scott Hunt of Practical Preppers did with them just this last week. He did a super good webinar. It's about an hour and a half, or I think hour and 45 minutes long, on water and how to sustainably, how to have a water plan, essentially, with storing and resupplying and purification. And he talks in detail about wells and springs and ponds and like all these different things that can tie into your water plan. So they're doing content like that, expert webinar interviews with guests, and what they're doing is, again, guys, don't freak out. This is something they're trying to raise money for their documentary, so don't hate these guys. But what they're doing is they're allowing everybody to access these webinars for free for the first few weeks, or the first, however long. I think it's a couple weeks that you can access it for free. Afterwards, if you'd like to still access it, or you want to go back and get all the back editions, you can do so for a small fee. So it's a way that helps them get some of their goal money earned, and it also gives you guys some pretty good content. So pretty cool, and if you can scan through and just sort of see what makes sense for you. I don't think they're trying to gouge anybody. I just think they're trying to spread the message, and they're really hoping that they can get enough to fund this documentary. So again, guys, it's called Beyond Off Grid. One thing I should mention is that there is kind of like a God slant towards it. So if you're not somebody who believes in God and you hate that kind of stuff, it might not be for you. But they definitely come at it with a faith-based angle. I dig it. I do believe in God. And God actually factors into my preps and how I feel about my preps and my family and all that kind of stuff. And really my ultimate reliance is on God. And I think that most people of faith would probably say the same thing. But if that's not your thing, I get it. You don't feel like you have to check it out. But again, guys, it's called beyondoffgrid.com. You guys can check them out there. They're also doing the social stuff, so you guys can find them on Twitter if you're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest. Looks like they have a little RSS feed if you want to do the blog thing and keep up with them that way. But swing by, guys, let them know that I sent you on over, and check out some of those webinars, and maybe send a couple bucks their way if you guys can. All right, guys, hope you enjoy that. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Dan, and this has been your Daily Prep.